Good afternoon, guys, everybody watching. Um, hey, like I said, I was gonna start getting on YouTube and just kind of yapping about stuff. But I mean, of course, because it's me, I have to have some kind of structure and something to at least talk about, because I don't want to just kind of go on a tangent about random stuff. So, welcome to my little uncut raw footage podcast type thing that I'm doing. I was trying to come up with some names, and of course I used AI because I use AI for everything I can't do myself. But basically the structure of this is basically going to be, I'm going to be down here just talking about a topic for like 45 minutes. I'm not going to cut the footage, and I'm going to do it as a way to challenge myself to, of course, be outside, but just have a more clear mind when talking about things. Because I think one thing I tend to do is I'll ramble, and I don't like that, to be honest. So I'll just kind of use this as a way for me to improve my speech ability and my innate vocabulary, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, let's proceed. Basically, I was thinking about some names, and I think I want to keep it fashion focused. So I got a name, it was the name of that I got was it was like a really chic name. It was like Garment, but I wanted to do something that was different. I wanted to do something to add to that. So, instead of garment, I was going to do raw garments. So, raw garments, a lot of the time, are raw edge, non-dyed. You don't have any processing other than putting the garment together with your fabric of choice. And that's kind of the structure of this podcast. So, I don't know, maybe, on my lives, one of the people that are on my lives a lot said that, he was studying while watching me. So maybe you're studying, maybe you're reading. I don't know what you're doing. But yeah, today's discussion topic is going to be a word. And it's a word that I say a lot, and I want to discuss it because I like the word. And the word is chic. I don't know. I just love the word chic because it's so chic. There's so many things that I would equate to being chic. But, I think chic it can be kind of subjective. The same way beauty is in the eye of the beholder, I think chicness is, in the hands of who interprets it. I don't think that it's one thing. I think that it could be multiple things. I think that something that's chic to me might not be chic to someone else. But when I think of chic, I think of something that's effortless, kind of comfortable, cute, of course, and just, chic. I don't know, maybe I'll add some pictures as the vibe that I'm thinking of. But I also think chicness can be innate in someone, as opposed to maybe someone's trying to be chic, or someone will be kind of pushing their chicness a bit. I think just being chic innate without a lot of effort is my perception of being chic. That's why when people are like, oh, I want to put on a chic outfit, I'm like, well, I don't know if that's chic to me, because, being chic is effortless. It's supposed to be something that's just natural and comfortable and, whatever. But to my other point, it's in the eye of whoever interprets it the way they do, But I also chose to do this because it was me being out here and not really caring about background noise or the outside world, because it's we're all living here together. I don't know why structured long form content has become so structured, too structured, and it seems unnatural. It seems robotic to me, and I like to be authentic and show my personality, I guess. I I mean, there's nothing, this can't be scripted because I'm not cutting it, I'm not doing anything, and I don't know. But yeah, today's word of the day is chic. What are some chic items that I think make someone innately chic? I think a flat shoe is chic. I think being a tall girl or a tall guy and like not really caring about it is chic. Because, you know, sometimes the things that make you different can be chic. You know, I think that something like, for example, my Gap, like I think my Gap is very chic. I don't see a lot of people with a tooth gap, or I don't know, like something that you like to wear that maybe is an ode to something that you liked when you were younger, or something that you felt like, you know, when you were a kid, you liked to wear this pair of shoes and you bought a pair of sneakers that remind you of the shoes you had as a kid. I think that's chic, you know? I think a nice sunny is chic. I think matcha is chic, even though that's kind of cliche, but I think matcha is chic, and I think nature is chic too. Nature's very chic. If you look at how like everything effortlessly works in harmony and nothing is taking and not giving back in a way, you know, I think that's really that really speaks to chicness. Chicness can also mean purpose to some people. I was having a conversation with someone about what they thought the purpose of life was, and of course, you know, unfortunately, as unfortunate as it is, a lot of people's purpose of life is structured on the backs of Judeo-Christian ideology, and I think that it's okay for you to not value that, you know. And then people will be like, well, where does your purpose come from? You don't have to look for it. It's like everywhere. When you are born and you're breathing the oxygen from the plants and giving them carbon dioxide, that's just enough purpose that you need to give to this world. Like, I think that just existence, having the gift that you guys like to emphasize, the word gift of life, right? Having that gift, I think, is enough purpose in itself. And it speaks to me, you know, this nature really speaks to me. I think the chicness of nature, the chicness of our planet, and the chicness of what it could be if we weren't over our carrying capacity is like crazy. I do a lot of research when I'm bored, and one of the things that I was researching recently was our carrying capacity. And in my brain, I was like configuring this thought, this theory of us maybe being over carrying capacity. And the reason I started thinking about it innately was because, like, initially the reason I started thinking about it, I think I was thinking about just the things that were going on. We just had a pandemic, like there were tsunamis and floods and hurricanes and the storms and all those kinds of things, like unfortunate, unprecedented things happening to, like, removing so much life from our planet. And I was trying to think of it from a practical standpoint. Like, our planet is a living organism, just like you. So, like, if you get sick or if something isn't right within you, you get a fever. I think the reason our homeostasis gets thrown off is because our body wants to be at unsafe temperatures for some viruses, and it helps fight off those viruses and raise your heart rate and improve blood flow. And you may not feel the best, but after your body and your immune system is done fighting off whatever you have, you will. And I think that global warming, I think that just the way things move and the state of our planet right now is at a crucial turning point. And it's hard to, like, conceptualize and look at, but I think that it's really important to, like, value what we have, because it's literally, like, ephemeral. the way we as people, and I don't try to remove myself from we because I'm just like everybody watching this, but we as human beings have created this narrative that we're separate from the trees around us and the birds and the insects and the single-celled amoeba all the way down to the whales who have had their complex neurological capacity for hundreds of millions of years longer than we have. So it's like we tend to remove ourselves and place ourselves in this superiority complex when, if you look at it, nothing around you is inferior. This bush that I'm sitting in front of has just as many cells as I do, probably, if not more. It has just as many receptors for just as many necessities for life. There's a lot of people that don't even know the reason a lot of plants are green is so that they can reflect thermal radiation so that they don't burn to death. So there's a purpose for a lot of things that you may not see or you may not understand right away. And I think that's something that, is worth taking a look into, because a lot of things that you don't notice are like the most important. Like there's so much that should be so obvious, and you should be able to look at it and see that that's its purpose. But we kind of place ourselves in this bubble. We think that because we've conquered and harnessed innovation and the Industrial Revolution and all of this mass production of things, like because we've harnessed this idea of advancement, we've forgotten we've kind of negated the nature of us as life down to the base plan of us. Removing ideology, removing religion, removing bias. We're all equal. Like, there's nothing that makes someone superior. There's nothing that makes someone inferior. There's nothing that separates you from another living organism. And to think that is so arrogant and gross to me. It's not chic. It's not chic. Maybe I'll do that. I gave you guys a great example of something I think is chic. Something I don't think is chic is the way we've kind of put ourselves in a Western lens here in the Western part of the world, I guess. And I'm speaking more towards America because this is where I live, but like the way Americans place themselves in this bubble, and it's like this strictly Western way of thinking. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to travel to a different part of the world, and meet so many different kinds of people. And it honestly makes me so happy, because I'm like the crazy things that I've been able to experience, and the people that I've been able to meet, and the perspectives I've been able to be exposed to is something I really value, because the way we put ourselves in this Western lens and we negate the terrible things that happen in other parts of the world, and we kind of only think about ourselves, while there is some necessity for that because of the way our justice system and our just the systems that at play are, I think it's just so almost necessary to think like that. But we have to learn to stop. I'm going to adjust this, to be honest. I think we have to learn to stop. Like, to be so honest, I think we need to learn that we're not the only part of this world. We're not the only people who exist on this world. And like, to sit here and kind of, I don't know, to sit here and place yourself at a superiority stance, like there aren't other people in this world that exist, and there aren't other people going through worse things than you, and kind of inflating your problems to be more substantial than someone else's is sick to me, and it's not chic, and it's so inhumane and inconsiderate, and it's inhuman to me to not consider what someone else is going through. And if you really need to be placing so much energy into something, because energy is not unlimited, and to be placing it into something that's so not such a non-issue it's crazy to me. I don't know. I think it's really sad. And that's why sometimes when people will kind of guys, my camera literally stopped recording. But I know this was supposed to be uncut. I didn't stop or say anything or do anything. But when this is like, when you speak to people, I think it would help to start paying attention to how people place their value on what they say, and how they distribute that value, and how they speak about things, and the vocabulary that they use, and if they're really meaning what they say and understanding what they mean. Because there's a difference between, I think, just saying something and not being able to express what you really mean, and actually meaning what you say. Like, there's a stark difference, because you can say some things you can give your opinion about a topic and use vocabulary that is not indicative of what you mean. And here's my take on that, right? The reason that's so important is the same reason why when people will quote texts that were written by human beings that are flawed, like the Bible or the Quran, or these texts that are magnificent, by the way. Like, for a nerd who likes vocabulary, they're great. But when you don't consider someone else's experience, and you don't consider the way someone else is thinking, you automatically misunderstand something. Because the way someone reacts, and the way someone internalizes something, and the way someone's brain processes an issue, or processes news, or processes something that they read, is not a one-way track. Like, nobody has the same brain process. Nobody has the same thought process. Nobody has the same neurological pathway. Like, and that's why it's been so interesting to me for people to kind of place us in this box and say that there's only one right way. You know? I don't think that's chic. I was supposed to say that a long time ago, but that's what I don't think is chic. Start thinking about other people. Don't think about you and the people that live in your country, because those aren't the only people that exist in the world. Start being compassionate. Start having some kind of humanity, or that's not the right word, humility. Start practicing humility, because you are human. That should be your first priority when dealing with issues, or dealing with people, or dealing with whatever it might be. I don't like when people do that, especially because it's just, not only is it not chic, it's just so much more difficult for you to get your point across, let alone create a valid argument. Like, you know, there's just so much that is like, to me, it's like, come on now. Like, you literally could have so much perspective. You could have so much insight. You could have so much knowledge. But because you want to live in a confined religion or some confined ideologies, and I'm only speaking to the people who know that they don't have to be indoctrinated into a religion, you know? These are people that know. not the people that were indirectly indoctrinated and don't know, but like, you could have so much and you're limiting yourself. Like, that's how I see it personally. And you see how I speak. I don't ever speak broadly. I don't like speaking broadly because that's selfish. But, you know, I think we need to start being more human. For sure. Like 100%. There's so much that we could conquer, and like, there's so many ways we could persevere if everybody was just humans. Like, if we all just focused on being humans, do you understand? Like, it's so crazy. Scarcity of resources doesn't make sense to me. Starving people don't make sense to me. Homeless people don't make sense to me. And circling back on my point before was like, for people to create this bubble around what they think is wrong and then inflate it, and then inflate it some more, and then make it allow it to consume them, is so scary to me. Like, it's terrifying. And I don't know if you guys notice that, but when someone is so stuck on something, it comes from some kind of encounter with that. Prime example, me as a gay man, like, people will use the concept or harp on the concept of me being gay so much so that they forget I'm just like them. They forget I have the same emotions. They forget I have the same, organs as them. They forget that I have hair, skin, nails. I have eyes to see the world around me the same way you do. We may not have the same processes. We may not have the same receptors or the same perception, but our foundations are identical as people. And foundationally, you should be thinking identical with the person next to you. Like, the audacity of people sometimes. It's like, there are people who wish that they could just be with their friend one more time, or hug their family member one more time, gay or not. But you only want to focus on the fact that someone is gay, or you only want to focus on the fact that someone is black, or you only want to focus on the fact that someone has something about them that you're not familiar, or it's foreign to you. But foreign things are not always bad. Like, I don't know where this concept came from that when something is foreign, it's a negative. Or just because you think something is wrong, it has to be. And then people will not know that they're literally just speaking from a book. Like, who's to say these weren't just stories to teach people lessons? We don't know anything for certain. So conflating an ideology that has never been proven, or like conflating ideas that just simply aren't true, is not chic. I don't think that, I would equate that to, for my personal opinion, if we go from a fashion standpoint, what would I equate that to? A lot of people would say the recent Versace collection, but I think you guys were so mean to him. Let's be real. I think you guys were so mean to him. I forgot the designer's name, but he left now. But you guys were so mean. Like, you guys were literally so mean. But I don't know. I guess it's just gonna have to, I don't know what, I don't know. On that matter, and our progression on that, and us getting to a point where I think we're progressing truthfully, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. I think it starts with a small group of people, you know, like, try being positive to someone who did a bad thing to you. Just because. You don't even have to have a reason. Just because it's part of your nature. You know, like, I think you have to think about being rude, or you have to think about being nasty or malicious to someone. You don't have to think about being kind or not bringing any attention to an issue. You don't have to think about that, because there's always something more important. There's always something more detrimental. Don't think monoperspectively. I like that word. Mono perspectives. Don't have a mono perspective on things, because we're not a monolithic species. Like, we have so much uniqueness, and we have so much diversity in everything for us to only have one thing in one way and one idea. It's just like fashion. Fashion is reflective of humanity. There's so many different kinds of fashion. Fashion is unique to everybody. Some people like certain things. Some people hate certain things. Some people would wear certain things every day. Some people wouldn't be caught dead in certain pieces. For me, for an example for me is, I don't know, what wouldn't I be caught dead in? Probably like Jordans and basketball shorts. I wouldn't be caught dead in that. But could I make it chic? Maybe. But as of now, wouldn't be caught dead, babe. Like, you wouldn't be seeing me. But yeah, I think that it does more harm than good to think like that, and to have that kind of way of processing things, because I don't know. I think it's like, come on now. Let's be serious. Let's be real. You're not the only person that exists. You don't know. So just be human. Like, you don't know anything. Nobody really knows what we're doing here. Nobody really, like, just be what you are. Like, just be a human being. Don't try to be like a god that you worship. Not saying there's anything wrong, right? But don't try to make somebody else that, if that's what you're gonna do. Just do you, you know? People will be like, oh, like that, and then they won't. Another thing I don't like is they'll point out an issue without pointing out the cause, or like the reason for that issue. Like, they'll be like, oh, well, this group of people has a higher rate of suicide, and that's a sign of it being a mental illness. And I'm like, how in your right mind, right, could you sit here and talk about a statistic about people statistically killing themselves at a higher rate without addressing the cause? It's called cause and effect for a reason. It's not just effect. And the cause is not the person. Like, you guys place the blame on the people that kill themselves all the time. It's like, what if they weren't bullied at school? They would still be here. Maybe that's the cause. What if what happened to them that caused them to kill themselves didn't happen? What if people were kind to them? What if people accepted them? What if people created spaces where they felt welcomed? What if people did the bare minimum and just left them alone? People go out of their way to be rude and malicious and mean and hateful. And I've never understood it. I'm kind of getting tired sitting here, and I want to like stand up. So I think I'm going to raise the tripod up. But it's like, come on now. Are you kidding me? Why would you ever do that? Hold on. Hello. Okay. My legs are like very spread open right now. I'm not standing straight. But maybe if I back up. Okay. Also, guys, the outfit for today is kind of the LA uniform. Black tee. It's cropped. I have on my normal kind of jewelry. It's this, like, chrome stuff I got in Korea. And I never take this ring off. It's an anchor. And I like to think of it as me being anchored to the things around me, you know? But I can't understand people who think that way. Like, why do you go out of your way to be rude when you could just leave people alone? Or, like, you know, I don't know. Also, guys, if my camera dies before I'm done recording, it is going to be the end of the video. But if it doesn't, then we'll go for the 13 minutes and 20 seconds that are left. But yeah, you know, I think it's interesting. Something to think about. Or maybe, I don't know, if the camera dies, I'll just talk. Because, you know, it's not supposed to be only a visually appealing video. But I also think it's interesting to kind of conflate your own way of thinking as if you were the only person that exists. And it's malicious for you to go out of your way to be rude to people with no reason. But if you are being bullied, or if people are being mean to you, or, you know, I don't know, if you are kind of, what am I trying to say, guys? If you are in a place where it's like, I don't know why people are so mean to me, and I don't know why I'm being told these nasty and rude things about myself, just literally just be kind to those people, because sometimes that's what they need. And okay, it stopped recording again, but it's still on. Okay, it's probably gonna die soon because the battery light is on. But yeah, I think it sucks. I think it really sucks. And, you know, just imagine if we just allowed people to exist. Imagine if we allowed people to exist. And then people will bring up the fact, oh, well, there's people that do bad things in this world. Yeah, of course there is. But there's a difference between something that brings you happiness and something that brings you pleasure. And I find that a lot of the things that people do that are bad are out of emotion, and they are seeking instant pleasure, or they're seeking a pleasurable experience as opposed to a fulfilling experience. And I think there's a distinction and a difference to make, you know, with that. And I also don't really think organized, well, this is for me, like, for me personally, I don't think I am the kind of person that could be chic in organized religion. Like for me, it's just not chic. I can't see myself, like, I don't even know how to put it. It makes no sense for there to be organized religion to me. In a world where there is so much opportunity for something to be misinterpreted, I don't think it's logical for us to create this kind of, like I said earlier, box. It's really bad. And yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll give some more things I think are chic. Chicness to me can be represented in a lot of ways. Like, I think that composting is chic, low-key. Like, that's really chic. I think that sustainable fashion is chic. I think that someone who likes a fragrance before it gets popular. That's chic, because that shows your individuality and that shows you being your own person. I think that someone having a niche kind of interest is chic. I don't know if this would be considered niche, but whatever side of the internet it's on is chic. And I don't know, I think everyone watching this is chic, because you don't have to, and you just are, and it's just, it's not taking anything out of your day. You could do this while you're doing anything. But yeah, what are some chic foods that I think are chic? I think smoked salmon is chic. I think caviar is chic. I think toast is chic. I think mangoes are very chic. And I think that blueberries are chic. I don't know, I think a salmon bowl, like, if you guys have ever had, like, and the camera's dead. Okay, great. But I'll keep talking. If you guys have ever had, like, how do I put it? Oh my god. If you guys have ever had, not a salmon bowl, a tuna bowl, it's like, I was in Japan and I got obsessed with onigiri. And my favorite onigiri was the tuna mayo one. So what I did when I got here was I would make rice and I would eat it with tuna and mayonnaise. And it's so good. And I use olive oil mayonnaise because I don't want, like, crazy calories in my tuna bowl for mayo. But I think it's really chic. Like, that little tuna bowl is such a chic meal, and it tastes so good, and it's good for you because it's tuna. And you don't have to use a lot of added things. There's not a lot of oil, even though that's what mayonnaise is. But there's, not a lot. I'm walking now, but... Of course. Hi. Wow. See? There's such a difference in people. I just opened the door for someone, and now I'm walking back towards my apartment, and there's, like, someone arguing. Anyways, back on topic. I think that meal is very chic. I think going on walks is chic, because it's good for you, and it's also good. Like, seeing nature and hearing running water, and whether it's in the daytime and you're hearing birds or the nighttime you're hearing crickets, like, being by yourself is chic. Being with someone you like is chic. Also, there's a crunchy leaf. But also, I think that it's about time I tell you guys, I started talking to a boy, but we're not gonna say much else than that. But I think right now it's in a chic place, We don't have to talk every day and, stuff like that. I don't like heavy commitments, and I don't want things to feel like a job. I don't want things to feel like a task. I don't want things to feel like an obligation. I want it to feel like something I like to go and do. I want to do it, a desire. But a healthy desire, to be specific. But yeah, he's really nice. He's very cute. And yeah, I think that's all I'm going to say on that matter. But I don't know. Hopefully we make it out, guys. Let's make it out of the talking stage. Even though it's chic, let's turn it into a chic relationship. I'm gonna put it in the cards for myself, for sure. Yeah, I won't be telling anybody his name. No, you're not getting any details. I don't know. I think, and it's honestly crazy. Like, I'm not gonna say that he's not usually my type, because he is. He definitely is. But it's just not, something. It was definitely something unexpected, I think, and it was really fun to get to know some things about him. We're still getting to know each other, so it'll be fun to get to know him still. And yeah, he's chic too. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it here because my camera is off and we only have a little chic amount of time. We have like 4 minutes left. So while we have a little chic chunk of time left, I'm gonna let you guys go. And yeah, thanks for watching and listening because there's no more video footage. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next Raw Garments episode. Bye.